It's one of the most iconic venues in all of motorsports. The Brickyard of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, site of round number 6 of 8 in the regular season for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Welcome inside our studios here at the Charlotte NASCAR Hall of Fame. I'm Chris Wilner. Hey, Hannah's back. Welcome back, Hannah. Good to be back and ready to go racing here at the Brickyard.
Thank you, and what a race to come back to, like you said, the Brickyard. And thank you to Jesse for filling in for me. Had some radio that I had to go take care of with NASCAR, so glad to be back and glad to be racing at the Brickyard. We're going to have an exciting night of racing ahead of us.
We certainly are. It's my hometown track. It's one of the greatest facilities in all of the world, and certainly will produce some great racing here for our league drivers. And Hannah, I mean, before we even go talk about Indy, we had some incredible racing in Chicagoland.
Yeah, we did, and I got the chance to watch all of it there. Congratulations to Levine Family Gaming on that overall event win. Awesome to see them get that, but it's crunch time.
Well, after a long wait, they finally got their first event win of the season. HD Motorsports, one of the drivers for Levine Family Gaming, locked into the postseason, and he joins us here tonight on the pre-race show as he gets set to take the green flag at Indianapolis. HD, thanks for joining us. Your partner in crime, the Bear, got the win to lock you guys in for that event win last week. What changes now racing-wise for you guys knowing you're going to make the playoffs?
Nothing changes at all. Points don't reset once you make the playoffs, so we got to keep pushing on, keeping those top fives, contend for those wins, and get as much points as we can. Hopefully go into the playoffs with the points lead.
Both of your drivers are very consistent. Both you and the Bear have shown speed at every single racetrack we go to, but we've got Indianapolis on tap tonight at the Brickyard. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
I'm feeling great. Car runs good. It's snug. It's good in the draft. It's just going to come out making the right moves at the right time, know who I'm racing, and then push it towards the end.
3 top 10s on the season. You've led 19 laps so far. Talk about your approach for Indianapolis, a place that I know strategy is probably the biggest thing on your mind.
Yeah, I mean, tire wear is going to be a big thing. Once the tire wears off, you're going to start getting a little tighter on the exit, maybe a little looser depending on your setup. So you got to run smooth and consistent early on, and then towards the end, that's when you go charge.
Awesome. Now, did you talk this week with the Bear about some possible keys to victory here? Because he's really good on kind of those super speedway tracks. So what has he told you this week, and maybe some story sharing about what you guys are going to do?
Really, he just gave me a bunch of advice, motivation advice. I've been having a lot of down weeks lately, for my standards and what I want to produce. But he's been cheering me up. He's been saying, you got this. You're one of the best on the Xbox side, and he believes in me, and the team believes in me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there and put my best foot forward and try and get that win.
That's a great mindset. Well, he starts 6th tonight, folks. Get ready to see HD take the green flag at Indy.
Thank you.
And like we said, with that event win for Levine Family Gaming, that locks them into the playoffs. You see the playoff standings here. Team Penske atop of the points with that one event win, but take a look at Roush Fenway Gaming. They've got 2 event wins, but they're 3rd in the standings overall points-wise.
Everybody is super close in that top 7, and then you go look at the next page of guys on the bubble and then on the outside looking in. Look at that. 2 teams tied at 27, their points behind the lead, and then the cutoff begins, and those 4 teams are itching to get back inside the cut line, and the guy who knows everything about trying to get in the playoffs here this year is Zane, the bearded one from our digital media lounge. Zane, what are you hearing from these teams that are on the bubble, and what do you think of how close this points battle is going into the final 3 seasons?
It's actually quite interesting. I don't know everything. I know a little bit about some things. Mostly I Google everything I look up, so the internet tells me a lot of my facts. But right now, that cut line is the most important thing in these next 3 races. Today, going into Michigan, and then Daytona. Daytona is going to be that cutoff race. It's going to be that big one, and it is going to have a big one there. But we're looking at RCR, Hendrick, Go Fast, and Stewart-Haas. Those 4 teams, anything can change. Last time when we raced, we were at Chicagoland. RCR was so close to getting that weekend victory to lock themselves in. Now they're still on the outside knocking on the door, hoping someone's going to let them into that 10th place spot.
And what a place to finish off the regular
No
season
kidding.
there at Daytona. Lots of crazy stuff can happen. But thanks, Zane. We'll talk to you here in a little bit. But before we go racing at the Brickyard, let's talk about Chicagoland and take a look at that PlayStation recap.
It's all about setting yourself up for the postseason as we get set to go and drop the green flag. It's racing at Chicago for PS4. Drivers on pit road. Slade looks like he'll capture the lead, but I don't know. He's slowed down a whole bunch. Here comes the Bear, and he edges out Slade.
Competition caution is out.
The Bear sneaking up there.
Took 2 tires there. Thought the comp yellow was on 23, and I would have been fine. I mean, I'm 3rd, not a big deal.
Parker in the 42 leading that outside lane. The bottom lookout contact. The 8 gets squirrely. And we've got a wreck in the back of the field.
Parker, that's all on you, buddy. That was all on you.
Caution is out.
Just because you look low, you can't expect everyone just to let you by. It's absolute trash.
No, Parker, that is your fault. They're still racing in front of you. Go high if you're that much faster.
Not you, Rowdy. I'm talking to Bobby, not you.
Got fresh tires from the back coming to old tires in the front. 3 wide and down the back straightaway from worst to first after an early wreck. Sloppy Joe takes the lead. I think everybody's coming to pit road, and they are. You hear them get down on the RPMs, trying to get it down, and they all do cleanly. Pit strategy coming into play. 2 tires for the Bear.
Bear is now 2.1 seconds ahead of Sloppy.
The Bear, Tuscaloosa, Alabama pride takes the checkered flag. Payoff.
We ain't going nowhere no time soon. Levine Family Game's here to play. Let's do it.
And the Bears survived all of that tension, that action there to get that win in PlayStation at Chicagoland. Led later on to that overall event win. Sloppy Joe coming home. Great run for him and RCR in that second position. And the young gun Slade, another podium finish for him.
Parker rebounded for a top 5 after igniting that wreck, as you saw there. Jobs with 6th place. And then near pole sitter tonight, Kyle Arnold came home with a top 10 finish.
And let's bring Zane back into this here. Zane, we got to hear all of their radio chatter, lots of words exchanged, a lot of anger going on. Are we expecting that to carry over into Indy tonight?
We might. There was a lot of heated tension at the end of the race, especially with the incident with Fed in the back of the pack when he was signaling to go to pit road, collected 3 cars. This week, it's going to be intense. Slade, the golden boy, man, he's coming on strong. The Alabama Bear, the big grizzly that's got a heart of gold and honey, came out with the win and got Levine Family Gaming what they needed to put him in that nice, comfortable spot in 3rd. I think we're only going to see the racing get stronger. These guys are hitting 215, 220 miles an hour in the draft. It's going to be a tight group on a single lane. Somebody's going to get bumped, and we may see a few wrecks.
Not only a heart of gold, but a heart of gold and honey. I like it.
That was very well done. Now, speaking of who doesn't have a heart of gold and honey are some of those drivers that were in some of that melee last week at Chicagoland. What have you been hearing as far as maybe some possible retaliation? I mean, we heard fighting words from Rowdy. That was pretty impressive.
Rowdy actually went radio silent after that. He kind of said his piece. He got his point across the way he needed to. Right now, what's really interesting is there's rumors that Stuart Haas's Hot Rod and Fast Fed are going to team up at the start of this race, and Fed's going to let Stuart Haas's Hot Rod in front of him, and then they're going to take off from the pack. And Bear said, you know what, if that happens, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the hind. I'm going to push my way through and go right to the front. So it's changed the dynamic of how these guys are going to race each other.
Oh, gosh, I cannot wait to see what happens here at the Brickyard in just a little bit. Zane, thank you. We'll check back in there in a little bit.
And one of those drivers who survived that crazy race at Chicago, Slade, driving for Wood Brothers, came home with a 3rd and is starting 3rd. He joins us here in the pre-race. Slade, you got to win in the preseason at Charlotte. You guys are still looking for that overall event win, though. How are you guys feeling about tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Casey was not able to qualify. I believe he lagged out of qualifying, which is unfortunate. But he's got a good hot rod in the number 16 Spin Mustang. And our 21 Spin Mustang is just as good. Qualified P3. Really excited about that. We've qualified 3rd through 5th every week. So ready to go at it again.
Key to consistency is obviously finishing in the top 10, and you've done that every race. Just kind of talk about kind of your approach each and every week, because you know that those points matter, and you've got to help carry the team to stay in that playoff position.
Points are huge. Right now, I think I have 4 top 3s, and then the 12th place at Auto Club, which is unfortunate to say the least. But it's just a matter of being smart and being safe. I'm not trying to make dumb moves early, and I think that's the biggest key, just keeping the car clean early on and being smart and knowing what's on the line. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, like Chicago, strategy's big too. I was able to get 3rd at Chicago, just pretty much strategy. And those are probably the biggest keys, keeping the car clean and going for some strategy if it's ever out there.
And speaking of strategy, a big track like Indy, a lot of things can go right and a lot of things can go wrong. Have you guys talked any specific strategy you're planning on playing in tonight?
Not really. I mean, there could be if a caution comes out a certain amount of time or a certain lap, because if this thing goes caution free, I'm pretty sure it'll just be 4 tires and 2 cans on the last lap or on the last pit stop. So that shouldn't be big deal there. But that's for Indy. I mean, apron's really key here. Keeping your car clean is going to be the biggest thing. Just being smart. In our practice races, we've had little issues for the PS4 side. And only thing it's been going into turn 1, people carrying a lot of speed and slowing up the racetrack. That's been the only key on PS4, only problem, I should say. So, yeah, I mean, if caution comes out at the right time, we'll be looking for some strategy to play out and see if we can bring the Wood Bros game and Brad's Finn Ford Mustang to victory lane.
Well, you guys heard it there. The key to consistency. Slade pretty much gave you everything you need to know to be fast at Indy tonight. But, hey, good luck starting third tonight. We look forward to watching your race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And I heard he had to tell race control to kind of hurry up with the race because he's got school tomorrow, senior year. So congratulations on starting that final year of high school, Mr. Slade. He's got business to do starting third, as you heard. And then how about Fast Fed? He said he had a bad car last week, and you're his lucky charm, Hannah. You're back, and look, he starts second.
And there he is on the front row, like you said. SHG Hot Rod leading the field to green. Great qualifying effort also by Pennzoil. The Bear, last week's defending winner, rolling off 6th. And JRM Keffer, another great qualifying effort by the JRM crew, rolling off 7th there.
Keep your eyes on that 17 of Fluffy, because he definitely can race, as well as Sloppy Joe. Look at both of them to come back from the back here at Indianapolis.
And we've seen it done before in these races, these drivers that, maybe don't get to take a qualifying time. We've seen Garbage come through the field and win a race with no qualifying time. So I think anything is possible in these races. And RCR, they're going to be one to watch tonight as well, looking for that win.
There seems to be a common theme of anything can happen, and I think that will definitely partake here tonight. And I think there's probably about 4 or 5 teams that could take the checkered flag. So as far as who to keep your eyes on, everybody.
And one of those drivers also racing for Joe Gibbs. Voltage, let's take a look at his player profile here and get a little bit more on that Joe Gibbs racing driver.
Voltage _20, driver of the TRD, Joe Gibbs Racing Camry. I never thought I'd have this type of experience. I mean, just from getting drafted and then getting to the track, and it's honestly surreal. Nice TRD banner on the wall, Toyota sign there. Got that nice red Toyota hat in the middle from Victory Lane at Dover with Martin Truex Jr. 1. Got Turtle Beach headset and a PS4 Pro controller, and kicking it back on the recliner. Grew up a race fan pretty much my whole life. I started watching when I was about 7 years old. My uncles used to come over to the house all the time, have the races on the weekends. And I just remember being glued to the TV with them guys every time they had it on. And it's been a passion of mine ever since. And it's safe to say it's about 20 years later, not much has changed. We're still glued to the TV every Sunday. Apart from that, we've been console racing every bit of 10, 12 years now. And then it's kind of crazy to think what it led to that I'm in this position that I'm in now. I've also been bodybuilding for a better part of 6 years now. I was a 3-sport athlete all through school. Once I got out of school, really didn't have any competitive sports to play. So I settled for the next best avenue, which is bodybuilding, and honestly couldn't be happier. It's great to just go in the gym and have that camaraderie, almost like a locker room camaraderie like I did back in high school. Right now I'm currently a construction worker, just a normal 9-to-5 guy. If I were to get out of construction, I would like to do physical fitness, motivate people, stuff like that, and just working on my NASCAR Heat career. Now that you guys know a little bit about me on and off the track, I'm gonna get back to getting this Joe Gibbs Racing TRD Camry hooked up for tonight and see if we can put it in victory lane.
Well, Chris will be sending
101,
him
102.
A recommendation for a workout plan over here. I think he sparked a complex in my co-host.
Hey, I got motivated. Did you see the guns on him? 2 tickets to the gun show. And Zane will, this way, send it over to you.
What? Were you really getting to work? Were you doing leg day, arm day? What was going on down there, bro? I'm a little concerned.
Chest and arms.
Chest and arms. Okay, do that after the show, not during the show. You got a job to do. Voltage is a scary man. Huge, but he's awesome. This guy is really passionate. He's got a good heart, head on his shoulders. Great teammate in the Bolt. So we should see some actual. He's making improvements week in, week out. My thing with Joe Gibbs is just these guys need to be consistent. We're seeing more consistency out of the Xbox side than the PlayStation side. I think when Voltage gets into his groove, he's going to be a dominant car to deal with at the end of the season. But right now, he's still getting his stride, I feel.
And we only have really 2 races left in this regular season. They're running out of time. How are they feeling overall about Indy tonight with such a short time before we do go playoff racing?
It's win or go home for some of these guys. They know that they got to pull that week win, or they're not locked in, and that's the only way to guarantee a place in the playoffs in 3 weeks. So it really comes down to that, and I think the Bolt might be able to help if Voltage gets a top 5 finish or even the win. They both look good at Indy this week.
And certainly the Voltage doesn't have a top 5 yet this season, but he certainly could. Zane, thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead and transition on as we count down to green here at Indianapolis to Xbox. Hannah, I know you missed that race too as well. No fighting words in this one, but still a very entertaining race in the Windy City. We get set to go racing Windy City style. For the Xbox drivers, the NASCAR Heat Pro League, round number 5, taking the green flag, and everybody's on the loud pedal. It's time to go racing. Right now, a big push from the 14 of Slick. How about that, giving some help to Track Bar, who goes from 2nd to 1st. All eyes on your front 3. So far, Track Bar's just kind of driving out of the rearview mirror, making sure he keeps his competitors behind him. For the lead here, looks like he'll use the run down the front straightaway, and so moves Slick to the point, leading his first lap of the day. Here we come to the competition caution, and it's going to be Slick for Stewart-Haas Gaming. 25 laps to go for your Xbox drivers, 2x2, as Slick now falls back to 2nd, so move the 37 back to the lead. Whoa, little wiggle there from the 14. He gets high up in the marbles. He'll go back from 3rd, make it all the way back to 6th, and maybe more.
That 18 was not moving.
What are we hearing about your leader here? Possibly saving some tires?
He's holding on for dear life. This could be the race, fellas.
Everyone has caught the leader of Track Bar. Can he hold on? Yes, he can. Track Bar gets the win at Chicagoland Speedway.
A lot of hard work paid off again. There's nothing to complain about my season so far.
They've had a very consistent season for JTG. Another win there for Track Bar. Go Fast Matt rebounding for his teammate in the previous race, coming home 2nd, and a strong run there by JRM Dohar in that 88 3rd. They're still looking for that win, and consistency is key.
Yeah, that team probably one of the most consistent with Dohar as well, with a podium finish. Jacob Kerr coming home 6th. HD, we talked to him earlier, coming home in 7th. And Skirt Bush 10th, but he was our #1 overall pick for the Xbox drivers, and he's a guy we talked to in the pre-race show here, and he's going to give us a little bit more about what makes him go around with his setup out in California.
My name is Greg Matarazzo, aka Skirt Bush, and I race for Chip Ganassi Gaming. So I've been following NASCAR since 2003. I don't know what it was, but I just picked Kurt Busch, so I got to see him win the 2004 championship and was a fan ever since.
With the #1 pick in the Xbox round, Chip Ganassi Racing selects Greg Matarazzo, Skirt Bush.
To be drafted and have him calling my name was just a surreal experience. You know, it's almost like being drafted and having Michael Jordan call your name into the NBA.
Today I'm going to show you a little inside look at my life. So this is my room, this is where I race from, this is where I operate my business.
So outside of racing, I'm usually designing clothes. I have my own clothing brand called Barassi.
So everything is custom made. I start with the patterns, I get sampling done, and then move into full production. Some stuff's made in the US, some stuff is made overseas. These have been very popular over the years.
Honestly, I just like to race about 99% of my free time.
27-inch monitor, camera right there for streams, headset hanging, Logitech wheel and pedals. As you can see, there's a beautiful view here of California hills. So a little fun fact about this building here in front of me is that this is the former Hanna-Barbera site. All your shows like Scooby-Doo and Flintstones were created in that building.
I definitely think I have some rivals. They don't want to see me beat them. Rubbin's racing. Maybe give them a little push, a little bump. Always love a good photo finish.
And he's got a beautiful view there to race. We know it's probably still light out on the West Coast. That works out good. And a fun fact for you, Hanna-Barbera was actually my nickname prior to Hannah Banana, and then the Hannah Montana came, and yeah, that's what my dad used to call me. So
we may have to now start calling you Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We'll stick with Hannah here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Xbox starting lineup for Indy here. Jacob Kerr, a great qualifying effort for him, starting on the pole. Consistency here, you've got Track Bar on that outside front row.
And SHG Slick too, so that team is itching to get an event win, as well as Gibbs Gaming, who's trying to get above that cut line there, or stay above that cut line with the Bolt starting in 4th. And then Shell V, been pretty quiet since Charlotte, but he's got a top 5 starting spot.
You got Mordog there with Hendrick Gaming Club in that 8th position. JRM Dohar qualified 9th, and you look here with Casey and wow, that's garbage. Unfortunately, no qualifying times for them.
And we are going to take a little bit in-depth look at SHG and that Stewart-Haas Gaming team, because they've done things awfully different so far this year, and they're going to kind of explain their drivers in a different perspective.
When we went into the draft, we knew that NASCAR Heat has a huge reach. In order to be competitive, we wanted to pick guys that were going to go out and win races. I'd like to introduce you to Slick. He is our Xbox driver, and his gamer tag is SHG Slick 14X. The Slick moniker is the background for any hardcore old school driver that is just interested in winning races and getting to victory lane. Slick doesn't have a ton of free time. He spends most of his time racing, getting his setups ready. Want to make sure he is in prime shape to get to the front and get the victory lane. Who I have here is Hot Rod. His gamer tag is SHG Hot Rod 14P. Every driver on the track is his rival, and he's out there to beat them all. Hot Rod is all about himself. Hot Rod wants to win. He doesn't care about any of the other competition. He doesn't have any guys that he's working with. Well, I'll tell you, the mantra at Stewart Haas Racing and Stewart Haas Gaming is do what it takes to get a win. So if that means moving somebody out of the way, he's going to do it. He's going to use that chrome horn.
Definitely an interesting approach they've taken there. Makes you wonder who is underneath those helmets. And honestly, I'm not quite convinced that it's not Jake, the voice of SHG, that's racing every single week.
See, it's that mystery that just makes you keep wanting to learn more, and it's definitely interesting the way that they've done things. It's been awfully successful and certainly piques everyone's interest here at eNASCAR Heat Pro League. So something pretty exciting to do, and I can tell you what, I don't even know who to watch for in this race, but it'll be definitely interesting to see. But a team that's on the bubble, as we just saw, is SHG. Do you think they can get it done?
I think they can. We've shown some consistency. They've shown improvement, and, they're starting to get in this rhythm now. Time is coming down. It's ticking down here for them to get that. But I'm wondering if maybe racing in those helmets, I saw they were tinted visors, and they're racing indoors, so maybe we need to get them some untinted visors.
Get some clear shields for those guys.
That would reveal their identity.
Yeah, it definitely would be interesting to see SHG do their thing here at the Brickyard.
And another one of those teams on the bubble with a handful of races to go in the regular season, Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. We've got one of their drivers who joins us now, Nick Jobs, in this pre-race show here. Nick, handful of races left. We're going green here at Indy in just under an hour here. How are you feeling about tonight? What's the pressure like knowing that you guys are on that bubble?
Yeah, as always, thank you for having me on here. I'm extremely confident tonight. Indy's one of my favorite tracks to run. Sam and I have spent a lot of time this week, so we're going to dig deep, and we're going to try to put that number 25 Chevy Camaro ZL1 in victory lane.
Hey, the spirit of competition for you guys in this league also kind of turned into a spirit of giving here this past week. Why don't you tell everybody at home that maybe is not familiar with kind of what goes on when we're not here at the track in terms of a bet that maybe turned into a nice charitable donation?
Yeah, so us 28 drivers have become a close-knit family, and we rip on each other all the time. We're talking daily, and Hot Rod is one of the fastest drivers on PS4. Everybody knows that, but he's been known to make some unforced errors in some league races. So Keffer was joking around with him. He said, "You're going to hit the apron on turn 1 and wreck the field." And it turned into a $50 bet for charity on if he will hit the apron in the whole race, and he didn't. So Keffer ponied up $50 and donated to breast cancer awareness.
Always super cool to see that. I actually didn't know about that bet before we came in today, so that's awesome. I'm glad that $50 went to a charitable. Now, is there any bets going on this week? I've heard there's some bets, so we'll have to look at what bets are at this race as well. But Indy, how are you guys feeling overall about this racetrack and this race? There's a lot that can go wrong, but also a lot that can go right for you guys.
Yeah, I feel confident tonight. I have a good race car. It's going to be fast out there. It's going to come down to who can execute the pit stop the best. Coming out with, we have about 18 to go after the competition caution. So it's going to be who can go from there. And hopefully it'll be us.
Pit stop's definitely something to keep an eye on. Well, Jobs, thank you so much, and good luck tonight's race.
Thank you.
Always neat to see that these guys are super competitive, but then also can give back and do incredible stuff. So props to them. Zane, you're back in our digital lounge, and, Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club is on the outside looking in. Is there a sense of desperation, do you think, or has the performance as of late maybe boosted their confidence a little bit?
They've been each other's yin and yang is the best way to describe it. Moordog has a bad week. Jobs picks him up. Jobs has a bad week. Moordog picks it up. These guys need to be consistent on both sides to get themselves out of 12th and into that top 10. They're only 11 points out from the cut line. A solid top 5 finish from both teams, a second place finish on the other side. You just won yourself the weekend and you locked yourself in. But they need to be consistent, and we're just seeing the wishy-washy. One side does good, the other side drops. So we're going to have to see that happen this week.
And we talk about how the time is of the essence. We've got these 2 races left. You get to hear their weekday chatter a little bit more than we do. The practice, how are these 2 drivers looking going into tonight's event?
Jobs looks really good. He's working on a lot of strategy. He actually probably raced the most out of anyone on the PlayStation side. Showed up every practice session, final practice he raced. And then what we saw with Mordog last night, the guy was actually fast and really dominant in final practice. So it's going to be really, like I keep saying, interesting to see what these guys can do, because they get in the top 5, they get involved in a wreck, they just don't be consistent on one side. If they can just lock it up, they're going to get themselves into the playoffs.
Hey, real quick, tonight's race in Indianapolis, it's going to be definitely a strategy-driven race. I know you talked a little bit about the importance of pit stops. How about some new rules on pit road for these drivers, too?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting night. So we have 35 laps of green with 1 pace. So we're at 36 laps of racing tonight. Competition yellow is going to be on lap 16, but pit stops are going to be anywhere between 7 to 10. Some guys were stretching it to lap 10. I know it says 9, but in practice, they were pulling something out and just saving. So the rear thing with pit road is you can come off of 4, drop down the pit road, no problem. When you come off the exit of pit road, you got to stay on the apron all the way through 1, all the way through 2, and then merge on the backstretch. If you're caught cheating, you're going to have to take a ride down pit road.
And that's definitely not something you're going to want to do tonight. You don't want to get stuck on pit road, but we've got the PlayStation race up first, Xbox following. Who are your picks for both those races tonight, Zane?
So for PlayStation, I'm looking at Slade to win it. The guy's been dominant. He's the young gun in the crew. He's starting 3rd tonight. I feel that he can actually pull off a victory. My dark horse is Pennzoil. The guy's dominant. He's consistent. He just needs to get a win. Xbox, I'm looking at Go Fast Matt. The man finished 2nd last week. He may have hit the brake a little bit to hold the pack off to finish 2nd, but he's showing consistency, and he may show up tonight and actually win it. And then my dark horse, the Bolt. The Bolt's been consistent, strong, week in, week out. He needs to finish in the top 5 without mid-race dropping to the back. So he may show up to be a win. My team victory tonight, it's between Stuart Haas Gaming and Go Fast. I think they might be both teams might be able to pull off a win this weekend.
Zane, you're known as the bearded one, but I think you're like the man of wisdom. Thank you very much for joining us here
Anytime.
on the pre-race show. We'll check in with you during the race, because guess what? It's time to go racing from the Brickyard, and we're going to take a look at your PlayStation lineup as we get ready to drop the hammer at Indy.
You look here, and you've got Stuart Haas Gaming with Hot Rod leading the field to green. Fast Fed on that outside front row, looking for a rebound after last week's performance at Chicagoland. The young gun, the one that Zane has his money on, Slade, starting in that 3rd position, and Pennzoil rolling off 5th.
Yeah, another driver that you heard Zane mention, the Bear, last week's winner, going to try to grizzly his way to the front at Indianapolis. Jerem Keffer, he was on vacation 3 weeks ago in Myrtle Beach, said he was nice and rested, had a solid outing. He'll start 8th tonight. And then looking at your last couple starters here, how about Rowdy? He was definitely upset at the action from Chicagoland. We'll see if he can get back to the front from 12th. And rounding out the field, Sloppy Joe, multi-runner-up finisher, is going to try to taste the checkered and kiss those bricks here today at Indy.
Yeah, you look at Fluffy and Sloppy Joe on that last row there. Unfortunately, like we said, did not take qualifying times. Will have to start at the rear of the field, but we've proven before that you can get to the front still. We've seen Garbage go to the front, win a race from not getting a qualifying time. So anything is possible here. Anything is possible at the Brickyard. It's a big track. Drivers are going to be taking risks because time is of the essence. We've got 2 races left, and a lot of drivers still looking A, for a win, and B, for an event win for their team.
On board or in the living room with Jerem Keffer there, as he's got the Junior Motorsports number 7 ready to go, as we'll check in on him during the course of the race. And as Hannah mentioned, 3 races, including tonight, 2 more after this. So desperation time, especially for that team to get back up toward the playoff front. And then we do want to remind you folks, because I know all the buzz, especially last week around the cover reveal of the new NASCAR Heat 4, you may want to stick around after this race, because we will take a look at the inside the game action from Martinsville night. Yes, night. That's what you get if you pre-order. So don't forget to pre-order the game, because you get that special racetrack to race at night. And I'm excited because nothing like Martinsville under the lights, Hannah.
Martinsville is one of my favorite tracks on the circuit as a whole. Late model stocks actually go there in the fall. Of course, short track racers over here. Love going to that race. Love going there when NASCAR visit there, let alone lights, man. What more could you make Martinsville be so nitty-gritty, so cool, but then to add lights and let's send them racing under the lights.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. But first things first, we got action here at the Brickyard. 2.5 miles around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The cars are on the racetrack for their pace lap. As you take a look from the pace car, looking back at our front row here, pretty definitely going to be, we talk about pit road. The apron here at Indy is very slick, so you may see some guys that want to hustle off pit road to get that good outlap time not really be able to do so without possibly spinning out. So it'll definitely be something to watch, not only pit strategy, but how to get off pit road. And we heard Zane mention that in our keys to the race. Hannah, are you ready to go racing at the Brickyard? You had your first Indy 500 experience this May. Now you get to watch the stock cars here around the Brickyard.
I did. As we took that pace lap, I saw them going into turn 1 there.
Did you find your seat?
Like, hey, that's where I sat earlier this season. So cool to get to call this after getting my first, real experience at the Brickyard. And I want to talk about Slade here for a second. As you talked about being on the apron, making sure you execute that, and how risky really running the apron is. It can mess up an entire lap, maybe a position there, but it can also maybe secure you that position that could lead to a win. So it'll be interesting to see as we get ready to go green here at the Brickyard for the PlayStation. You can see the Pennzoil driver here for Penske in that number 2 car. We're going to be riding on board with him in tonight's race. I love these backdrops that these teams have acquired.
Oh yeah,
looks super professional. I love those quarter zips too. I need to get on the team swag.
It's all about team swag, and they definitely do it right here at eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Now, we do, remember we mentioned that bet that Keffer had last week?
Yes.
There is actually one tonight. Sloppy Joe bet money, $50 donation to a charity of his choice if he finishes ahead of Keffer, believe it or not. So those two are going to go at it here. It'll be interesting if you're going to follow along that bet. So that charity of choice will be the recipient if Sloppy Joe can get it done. He's coming from the back too, so it'll be fun to watch. But we're set to go here at Indianapolis. Green flag is out as they cross the yard of bricks, and we're racing for PS4.
Such a narrow front stretch there for him. Not a lot of room for mistakes, so I think a lot of these drivers are going to wait to make those moves in the corners as we are clean and green so far. It looks like we've got SHG jumping out to a lead here with fast fed single file so far.
Yeah, he was shot out of a cannon. I mean, he just took off on the start of that race, so he'll lead him down that long backstretch. This is where that draft and those high speeds really come into play as they dive into turn number 3. And trust me, from the cockpit, it looks very, very narrow going into these corners after going down such a long backstretch.
JRM Keffer slipped back to that 10th position there, but we ride along here with your leader, SHG Hot Rod. You see down there in his graphic, he's got 1 win this season coming at Bristol, a short track. So here we are. We're big track racing now at the Brickyard, but he's feeling the pressure from Fast Fed.
Sucked up right to the back bumper there of Hot Rod. He'll decide to let off a little bit as we ride. Little camera on the roof of Pennzoil, and then you're looking right at the driver of that number 2. Out of Waynesboro, Virginia, Pennzoil trying to make some noise here early at Indianapolis. Kind of letting this field shake things out a little bit as, once again, the battle for the lead. Fed took a peek a little bit. I don't know if he's just trying to size up the competition or possibly trying to get some clean air to the front grille of that Ford Mustang.
You see him wobble back and forth there as he just lurks right behind him, but pay attention to RPM right there in the 3rd position in that 44. He's kind of hanging out waiting for these two. He's feeling the pressure from Slade though, so you basically got 2 battles going on here where both 1st and 3rd are driving with their rear view mirror, not willing to give up any position early on in this race.
Yeah, I think the top 4 also just was kind of hoping to check out just a little bit from your 5th place driver. That's the Bear, and he was your last week's winner, so these 4 definitely want to drive away. Look, a little squirrely off of turn 2. Very slick, and I'm sure it's slick because it's also very warm in Indianapolis, and obviously with the sun shining, so these cars definitely fight for traction off these very narrow corners here.
You saw Hot Rod get a pretty good corner there, made a little bit of ground there on Fast Fed as Fast Fed fell into the grasp of RPM, but he slipped back a little bit as well as he's under fire from Slade. So far, dominant performance by Hot Rod, but still early on in this race, people are going to start making moves, I think, later on. We keep mentioning of how we only have these 2 races left. There's a lot of teams on the bubble, a lot of teams looking for good runs. So while it may not come down to battling for a win, you may see these drivers make some risky moves to get that overall position, because consistency is what is going to get you that event win and lock you into the playoffs.
Certainly right. Mike RPM in that 3rd position for Petty Esports. Petty, one of those teams on the outside looking in, so you know he doesn't want to make a mistake here. He wants to be in this top 3 for the majority of this race and then make a run at the end of the race. As here we go with your battle for the lead again, as the 32 just creeps ever so close to Hot Rod. Gonna tuck in behind. Now a move there for third, as now everybody's gonna plot in line. Look at Slade on the inside for third. He's gonna stick his nose in and kind of muscle his way past Mike RPM, so move RPM back, and he's gonna get freight train now, so Slade up to third. Here comes the Bear and Pennzoil.
We have these in-car camera for the drivers. I think we need in-studio cameras over here.
You had your hand over your face.
I did. I'm a little nervous here for them already with 31 laps to go. Again, fast fed all over the back bumper of SHG Hot Rod. There is absolutely no room for mistake between these two front leaders here. He'll every once in a while give him a little tap, say, hey, I'm here. One slip up, and I'm going to get that front running position for you. But it seems that everyone is so consistent. They're so all close in competition here. No one really seems to have an extreme dominant. Yeah, you got Fast Fed who dove down there to look for it. Ooh, and he's going to hold on to, he's going to challenge here, and he will take that front running position away. That'll slip SHG Hot Rod back as Slade looks to take advantage of that as well. Some two wide racing, some passing. We got a lot of action going on. Ooh, and a move there by the Bear. He holds on to it.
Hannah has a special relationship with Fast Fed. Fast Fed is the biggest Hannah Newhouse fan, and he said, I know my girl's back, I gotta take the lead. And he certainly did, and he's pulling away as your battle now is for back in third, fourth, and fifth. Mike RPM trying to regroup here in that 44. He does. So he's back up to fourth as we ride along with your new leader, the 32 for Go Fast Race Gaming.
I feel like we have to elaborate on what you just said there, just so there's no miscommunication here. Old Fast Fed and I go back and forth on Twitter, and he says every time I'm not in studio, he doesn't perform well, and that was said as of last week in Chicagoland. And here he is leading the race currently right now. And guess who's back in studio? So fortunately for him, I am not slated to miss any more races. Probably good, but man, the Bear all over the back bumper there of Jobs, looking to pass for that sixth position. He got that win coming from Chicagoland, so he's carrying some momentum into the Brickyard currently, but he's got some ground to make up to get to the front. But anything can happen with any of these drivers, to where one slip up, obviously, as we saw with a couple of these drivers, you can take advantage of it. But Slade slow on the bottom there, will slip down pit road. A handful of drivers coming down pit road as well. That will hand the lead over. The Fast Fed will still have the lead. Taking a look here with Jobs, his in-car camera. Lots of, I'm going to go with excitement there.
I don't think he was expecting everyone to dive off that quickly. It was kind of a blink and you miss it move with Slade ducking down, and then he just decided to go with it. It was a split-second decision. Definitely will be interesting to see with about, 9th through 14th now on pit road. So handful of cars will be now off sequence, trying to play the fuel game as we look back toward the front of the field, as we're going to look back now to Keffer. So those are on board with the Bear, who jumped up to third, and now you got Keffer in fourth, Voltage in fifth, and now another handful of drivers ahead to pit road. Oh, we got some contact.
There was some contact there, and that hands the lead over to JRM Keffer in that number 7 car there. And a cool fact about him, he's actually based here in the Charlotte, North Carolina region, and him and I have also gone back and forth on Twitter a couple of times. If you follow me on social media, you know I have a obsession, for lack of better words, of dogs. And he's always been an advocate. I always see him reposting stuff from the local animal shelters, trying to get a lot of these animals home. So a special place in my heart there, as he currently leads anything for the dogs. And look at that, 5 laps led so far this season, currently leading at the moment. So we'll see that little tally go up throughout the race right now as he leads. But spoke too soon, coming down pit road. Woo! A little wobbly there, but holds on to it.
Clocks him up, gets it slowed down to pit road. So Keffer's brief stint at the lead lasts about a lap, because now we're going to cycle back through, and the man that dipped off first in that spin machine for Wood Brothers Gaming is going to cycle back to the lead. He's your winner at Charlotte. He's your youngest competitor in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League at 17 years young. Hannah, what were you doing at 17? Well, you were racing, but for a lot of people, they weren't pro drivers here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. So pretty awesome to see him having the success he has. As here's a look back from Fast Fed to Slade, so who tucks into second. So now your top two are back to where they pretty much were left off at, as now we're going to look back at the 32 with Nick Jobs. So Jobs for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club inside the top 5.
Jobs is making moves there. If you saw him, you know, he was weaving throughout the cars right behind him, making quick passes around SHG and Voltage, currently running in that 4th position. You saw the overall attitude of him just change. He's now pure focus down here, and it looks like he drives maybe like I do. The closer I can get to the wheel, maybe the better I drive, which hasn't clearly worked out for me very well. But yeah, Jobs making moves, looking for that overall event win for Hendrick Gaming.
Pit stop cycling through. Slade takes the lead over Fast Fed, so pulled a little leapfrog of a move there, who was running in 2nd before all those pit stops. So a nice strategy call there by Slade.
Slade had mentioned, like you said earlier, he'd mentioned he maybe expected this to go green entirely with the exception of those competition cautions and people cycling through. And I'm not fully convinced that he doesn't expect it to go green so he can get to bed and be fully rested for that first day of school.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to go tell all his friends first day of senior year of high school I won at Indianapolis. So definitely going to try to get the job done as we ride on the left quarter panel of Jobs, and there's his onboard camera.
I think we need to convince Slade to wear some of his swag for picture day. Do they still do picture day on the first day of school?
I'm sure they do. And I don't know, you don't want to...
ID card.
Yeah, you don't want to look now, though, because here comes Fast Fed, who just takes it right back.
Fast Fed carrying a lot of momentum just throughout the overall season. Obviously not the race he wanted at Chicagoland. Had some difficulties there, finishing in the back half of the pack, but carries it into Indy here, looking for that. He's looking to make up for last week's. He's doing it so far, but we usually see when Fast Fed is fast, it's dominant. There's never a challenge. When he's on the mark, he is, I mean, out to lunch with everyone else.
And he definitely uses the draft to his advantage. I mean, you saw him slingshot his way past Slade. I don't think Slade was really understanding of how quickly that closing speed was, and I don't think he had enough time to react. So definitely a good move to take advantage by Fast Fed, who's back into the lead with Slade as 2nd. We had a car hit the wall just a few seconds ago on the outside. That was the 14 out of Stewart-Haas Gaming. So take a look at, here's what happens here on the outside. Gets out in the marbles, a little wiggle, and then, ooh, pancakes the right side of that car. Sure, it suffered some sort of damage. Aerodynamics a big key here, obviously, with the 2.5-mile oval.
Looks like he was battling there with Voltage for that position. Didn't look like he lost very much track position, though. Was able to slip back behind, stays within the top 5 there. Take a look here. Slade still running in that second position. Half second, though, behind leader Fast Fed. Really, the racing going on, though, is between Jobs and Voltage and Stewart-Haas Gaming, or Stewart-Haas Hot Rod there. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Fast Fed really putting some distance between himself and Slade. Riding along here with Mike RPM in that 6th. Great run so far for that team in this race thus far.
Absolutely. Showing them that he can run with the best, and Mike RPM definitely would love a good finish to start tonight at Indianapolis and get Petty Esports an event win and lock him in the playoffs. But he's got some work to do now, because right behind him is that Scott's machine of Rowdy. We saw how upset he was with the incident at Chicagoland. He's trying to get that JTG machine to the front, and now Slade slowed a little bit, let a few cars by. We'll have to check in and see what that was all about, because there goes Voltage, as well as Hot Rod and Jobs. So Jobs now to 2nd on the racetrack.
You saw some minor contact there with the wall by Slade in that 5th position. Fast Fed still with now over a 2nd lead on Jobs. Jobs said they had a great car. They were looking for that good finish tonight at Indy to help them get that overall event win. Fast Fed is going to make it very difficult, though. Average finish of 7.2, average start of 2.2. So wow. He's pretty consistent there, and Job's looking to get challenged here for that 2nd position with Hot Rod.
Yeah, best battle on the racetrack as we race to the competition caution. Little bump draft there from Voltage on the 14 of Hot Rod, and they're both going to work together around the Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club machine of Nick Jobs. So move Jobs back a couple positions there to 4th, as Hot Rod will go back to 2nd, Voltage 3rd. So go fast, SHG and Gibbs Gaming trying to hunt down there the top spot as we race again to the competition caution, where everybody have a chance to go down pit road, and there's the yellow flag. So competition caution is out with Fast Fed. Definitely the one to beat early here in Indianapolis.
You have to wonder how these cautions or how this pit cycle is going to play out. We saw about half the field pit early. About 2-3 laps later, we saw the other half of the field with a couple stragglers that pitted a little bit later. So with this competition caution, you're going to see a lot of these guys come down, and maybe we'll get a chance to bring Zane in here in a little bit and ask him maybe why such a big gap in between the two and why half the field is trying one strategy and the other. As you look at Pennzoil here, currently running 12th after starting 5th. Not off to a good start for him at Indy.
Yeah, kind of got shuffled back a little bit in the train. Again, it's kind of hard if you get left on the outside to pick your way and hold yourself on that outside lane. Indianapolis not really known for too wide racing, but we'll get him reset here, and he's got plenty of time left as everybody pitted, or not everybody pitted, but we will see what happened with who went down pit road, because right now it's time to go back to green flag racing as things get reset and we restart here on lap number 20.
With that whole field coming down pit road, you see Fast Fed there still on the front row, looking like he's getting challenged here by SHG Hot Rod. He's got a pretty good car as they are side by side through the corner here. Jobs watching these two battle out. A little bit of maybe contact there down the backstretch.
Nobody's given an inch right now as it's 17 laps to go, and they're still side by side down the back straightaway into turn number 3. The 14's gonna try to hold the outside lane, and he does, ever so close to the wall. Hang on, folks, we're side by side and about to make things real interesting here.
I was gonna say, he made that work. That was almost a hey, and we're gonna be clear, but it's clear by contact as Hot Rod slides down in front of Fast Fed to acquire the lead. 7 laps in total led tonight. Fast Fed now hoping to get the push from Jobs. We saw Hot Rod really get some assistance to take over that lead position with getting a push by both Jobs and Slade. Voltage running in that 5th spot, but hey, you see it here. He ducks down in the backstretch, and Fast Fed looking to regain that lead position, and he will put some distance between himself and Hot Rod in that move.
Yeah, those two seem to be the ones that can kind of figure out a way to catch and make passes for the lead. Job's right there in 3rd, got a little bit squirrely. I wonder if he's doing some numbers crunching. He's been a CPA since 2015. He's an accountant, so you know he's smart with math, and I'm sure he's figuring out that fuel strategy. Maybe one to look at as well as Slade, who made earlier pit strategy to try to keep themselves there in the front.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to call him in the off season because I tried to do my own taxes last year and it was not fun. Me and numbers do not mix well. That is why I talk for a career choice. It just works out wonderful. But looking here at Jobs, 2 top 5 finishes this season. Looking to acquire another one. It's all going to come down to if he gets this good run tonight. He's obviously got to rely on his teammate in the following Xbox race to also get that good one. They still need that event win to lock themselves in.
Ooh, look out.
Little wobble there by SHG, holds on to it, still tries to chase down Fast Fed with that lead position, and lots of racing action behind them between Slade, Jobs, and Voltage. 2 and 3 wide consistently for the top 5 positions.
These guys are pushing so hard coming off these corners, trying to keep it flat-footed between the turns and that short chute, which is this miniature straightaway in between each of the corners. So definitely trying to push the envelope and keep that momentum up. These cars, you got to keep them wound up, keep those RPMs up to keep that momentum going down the straightaway. And so sometimes it may get awfully close to that wall as, again, we look at the lead, and it's only about 1/10 of a second now, less than that, as here comes SHG Hot Rod. Those two now have checked out, and right now Slade's trying to hold off the rest of the field back in 3rd.
With 14 to go, I think this is going to shape up to be a really good battle for these two, both Hot Rod and Fast Fed. Consistent in pretty much every racetrack we go to. I'll give Fast Fed the benefit of the doubt. At Chicagoland, rough night for him, but doesn't miss a beat. Comes back, is quick. A little bit of a tap there by SHG saying, hey, bud, I'm here still, so don't slip up because I will take advantage of that there. You look at that, though, 190 miles an hour for Fast Fed that last lap. So SHG a little bit quicker, actually, on that mile per hour there. But
oh, look at this.
That looks like a hornet's nest back there. You've got the Bear leading that with Pennzoil, and it looks like we maybe got Fluffy stuck on the bottom side there.
Yeah, it was a gaggle of cars. Somebody got loose, and then it bottlenecked everybody behind them, and definitely that's going to be a fun race to watch because nobody can get away from each other. As we click the laps off here at Indianapolis, now with 12 laps to go. Zane, you've been watching our front two. What do you got for us?
I got a lot of things. These guys actually talked together this week, and those Fords made a deal. They said, hey, we're unofficial teammates this week at Indy. We saw at the start of the race. We're seeing it now. Nose to tail pushing each other. One's a blocker, one's a puller. That's how this race is going to end for these guys, unless that back group gets lined up and finds a way to get around these two, or it's going to be SHG and go fast finish 1-2.
Little manufacturing teammates going after it here, trying to get those Fords into the front. Be interesting to see if some of the Chevys, maybe even the Toyotas, gain up on each other to try to catch them. But right now, they're worried about just keeping things clean because we've got a train behind them, starting with Nick Jobs, or Slade, excuse me, leading that group of 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th on back. Here goes Penzel taking a peek on the inside. That's for 5th over on Bear. The two almost touch, and right now Penzel is going to take the advantage. So he moves the Bear out of the way and move that bright number yellow Pennzoil number 2 for Penske up to 5th. So a top 5 run for him.
We're going to take a look here with a little bit of contact. We talked about it earlier, some contact that probably bottlenecked up the back part of the field. You see there that contact with Voltage. Ooh, sends him down to the apron there. Everyone holds on to it. Sloppy Joe manages to keep it on the racing surface. That slipped Voltage back to that 12th position. And I have to make the joke here. I wonder if it's maybe because he wasn't able to see the 20 car. All he saw was the numbers. Are you getting my joke? The camouflage? It's okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, we got it.
It was a dad joke. I tried. I really tried. Fast Fed still dominant though. SHG in that 2nd position, 10 laps to go. I want to make a reference there really fast. We talked about the bet at the beginning of the race between it was
Sloppy Joe and
JRM Keffer. Looks like JRM Keffer is behind Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, only a car separates with them, so pretty interesting.
Guys, these are the pit road's about to open for these guys. They're in that window. I just saw a group of cars drop to the bottom on the backstretch. That is their unintentional signal to the rest of the crew. Watch them. There they go, right down pit road.
10 laps to go, and it's a melee getting into the pit road. Get them mowed down, folks. The game will take over here, so we'll be interesting to see who does what. You definitely know they need fuel, but right now it's going to be all eyes on your leader because Fast Fed, Hot Rod, they have not pitted. Middle of the pack did.
We heard Slade say in that pre-race interview he was going to wait until that last round of pit stops, take 4 tires and fuel. That'll overall give him a huge advantage if the opportunity arises with a caution over someone like Fast Fed and Hot Rod. Haven't seen them tuck down to go down pit road yet with 9 to go. So almost over half the field does come down pit road with those 9 to go. We're going to take a look at Job's reaction. Oh, yep, so you see the leaders tucked down and look at Job's reaction. We've got JRM Keffer down here, coming down pit road. We heard contact at one. Oh,
coming in hot. Yep, and so you can see it on his face, folks. Jobs is happy with that pit stop, giving a little guns up to us, and I think he planned that all along for that to happen right around with about 10 laps to go. So we're going to get them all cycled out as Jobs follows that 7 of Keffer out back onto the racetrack. Again, they have to take the apron all the way to the backstretch. He's on the loud pedal, and now it's all about just flat out racing to the race in this race to the finish. As right now, Hot Rod continues to lead Fast Fed. We're going to cycle things back around. Those two dipped on pit road right when we went to the replay.
Once we cycle through, like I'd said, right before we were going to that caution there, Slade had talked about this pit cycle, had talked about strategy, how he was going to play out, and if everything cycles through like he's planning to, Slade will be up there in those positions with 8 to go. Interesting to see. He's got this strategy figured out for being one of the younger drivers. He definitely doesn't lack on the notebook when it comes to strategy.
Oh, absolutely not. And definitely, you know, a reminder for those that maybe are still new to eNASCAR Pro League, they have access to these teams. These crew chiefs on the cup side of things are giving these guys pointers of how to set up their car. They have spotters here that are helping them navigate through traffic. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the strategy, and a lot of times it's a lot of working together with your race team, you know, in these off weeks before the race.
Super cool to get that engineering involved. and able to really work on getting these setups. These teams have obviously been to these racetracks where maybe some of these drivers haven't actually been to the racetrack themselves, let alone driven on it. So cool to get those teams hands-on involved to help these drivers set up these race cars, and a couple of those drivers that definitely have fast race cars underneath them. SHG, Hot Rod, Fast Fed, Slade. Consistently we see these three drivers at or near the top of the board every single week.
They figured it out right now with 3 races to go, 2 after this one to go to the playoffs, but right now all eyes are going to be about who is in the lead, and it's SHG Hot Rod currently leading. Here's a look back from Nick Jobs to Pennzoil as we ride on board with Jobs. A cool, interesting fact, Jobs is riding for a cause here for this season of eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Lost his mother at the age of 19 to cancer. He's riding with a special decal on his car. Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club put it on the left side, and it will honor his mom and cancer research. So riding in memory of his mother, and he's trying to get a win here at Indianapolis, which will probably be the biggest race win of his career. Right now he's got some work to do as we take a look back at Pennzoil.
This could work out for him, though, if Pennzoil gives him that push, and we've seen it happen consistently. Another driver assists getting that, in the draft here, give him that push to get him in front of JRM Keffer, but there's a gap there between Keffer and Slade in that 3rd position, and it looks like the top 3 have somewhat gapped themselves out. So right now, SHG Hot Rod is wanting it to go green. He's put that distance between himself and Fast Fed, and we heard Zane talk about it. It's going to come down to a 1-2 finish of these two pushing each other to the lead, but it doesn't look like Hot Rod is really in need of much assistance right now.
No, he's got that clean air, and I think he's just far enough ahead to where that draft is not playing in any sort of a role into that 2nd place car of Fast Fed. It'll be interesting, though, whoever has that setup, maybe depending on who took 2 tires, who took 4 tires, that has the ability to catch up a little bit. Fast Fed still not really knocking on the door, keeping about a second or so between himself and the leaders. We look at Keffer, and there's Jobs riding on board with Jobs, who's looking ahead, trying to take that position away for a 4th place run here in that number 25. And then you've got Slade, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th in a line. Then here comes Pennzoil. So the best battle on the track now is for a podium spot.
Slade there backed up a little bit, allowed Keffer and Jobs to catch him, and that put the heat on, like you said, it put the heat on Keffer from Jobs. And right now Slade is doing everything he can to hold on to that 3rd position with only 4 laps to go. Makes you wonder what happened there that really reeled Slade back to the rest of the field. Jobs looks to make a little bit of a move there. See, they push each other in the draft like we talked about.
Oh, man, he slicked the stamp and sent it. And he was trying to get a run.
We've got to be 3 wide right now. Yep, you see it there, 3 wide. And JRM Keffer gets slid back out of that draft, allows Pennzoil to get in front of him as well. Jobs takes advantage of that and now takes over the 4th position. SHG still checked out, but Jobs is able to reassist his focus, and he's ready to go take Slade on for that 3rd position with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Hot Rod said, thank you guys very much for doing that, because that just helped my lead. Oh, we've got an accident. One upside down in the air. It is the 7 of Keffer taking a wild ride. We've got problems here at Indianapolis, and the caution is out with 3 laps to go.
Heavy damage there for JRM Keffer. This will really shake things up. Pretty much coming out to a green-white checkered when it'll all be said and done. Tough break for Keffer. Had a great run going tonight at the Brickyard. I'll be interested to see how this plays out. We saw Hot Rod, though, check out to that lead. Fast Fed and put some distance between himself and Slade. Slade was feeling the pressure from Jobs in that 4th position, and we're going to re-rack him and send him again, and it's going to be definitely, there's going to be a lot of tension and a lot of anxiousness going to the finish here, because it goes on the line now. Everything's on the line as we get ready for another shootout for the win.
Certainly is. You can even see it on the look of Nick Jobs' face. Started 9th, is in 4th. He's got a shot at the lead as we reset things right now and get ready to sow green. And Zane, what do you got for us?
Right now we got a green-white checkered. It's going to be a 1 shot to do this. If the caution comes out, there is no caution. You run it to the end, and if you win, you win. It's checkers or wreckers, baby. Who's coming out on front?
Checkers or wreckers at the Brickyard as we are green back under racing. You see, Kyle Arnold acquired the lead there.
Where did he come from? Kyle Arnold in the 13.
Wonderful question there, but hey, he's shown he is here to race for that win. And we heard Zane say it, if they do wreck now, it is a race to the win. No caution will come back out. SHG Hot Rod says, nope, I have been fast all night. You are not taking this from me now, as he challenges him for that top position. He'll hold on to it, but not without Fast Fed following him through.
Side by side now, back for the third position as Fast Fed moves to second. So the 32 trying to hunt down his rival in this race, Hot Rod out of Stuart Haas Gaming, as they come down to the white flag. Pulling down low is Hot Rod. He'll lead coming to the stripe. One lap to go here in Indianapolis.
You'd said rivals, but you almost have to say teammates. These two have assisted each other the entire race together.
Oh, that's over now. There's no teamwork now. It's checkers or wreckers, as Zane said.
And all bets are off. Jobs with an awesome run here, looking to reel in Fast Fed, challenge him for that top 2 position. And Fast Fed with a great run there, looks down low to challenge Hot Rod. Can't quite get it done. He'll duck back behind the draft, as we've got only one more set of corners here to go before the checkered flag.
Sucks up right to the back of Hot Rod. The 32 of Fast Fed goes to the bottom, clips the apron. He may have a run coming to the checkered flag off the 4th turn. Fast Fed gonna try it, but no! It's gonna be SHG Hot Rod at the stripe. What a run for Hot Rod, the local boy. Gets it done at Indianapolis, and he'll be kissing the bricks.
Crazy finish there. Everyone managed to keep it together. No caution was needed. Not that we were going to get one, but a phenomenal race by SHG Hot Rod there. Showed he was quick the entire race at the Brickyard. He will collect that win in the PlayStation race for SHG. A great race overall by him and Fast Fed, but you have to wonder if Fast Fed is a little frustrated right now, maybe.
I bet you he'd like one lap back, that last lap back, to try to get a little bit better of a run. As we take a look at your unofficial results from Indianapolis, Hot Rod getting his 2nd victory of the season, backing up the win at Bristol. Fast Fed, a disappointing but very respectable 2nd place run, with Jobs, another solid top 5, comes home 3rd.
Good race for him. It'll be interesting to see how the Xbox race plays out for that Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. JRM Keffer comes home in 7th. He was looking for a strong run as well. Looks like he won that bet, though, between him and Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe comes home 8th.
We'll have to figure out what charity he gets to donate that $50 to, but tell you what, that was a close finish at the line. Almost reminded me of an Indy 500 finish, just the way they came off the corner, and unfortunately, Fast Fed just did not have that enough run to get the job done.
And we talked about it in the pre-race, how interesting it is that SHG has been doing. Hot Rod, the winner in tonight's race from Indy, collects that win. And we have got Jake, the voice of SHG, Stuart Haas Gaming, on the line with us here. I like your apparel. I never know what I'm going to get every single week when we talk to you. I like it. There you go.
Yeah, but we got the PlayStation logos on there. It's pretty fitting.
Are you going to change for the Xbox race?
You know, I have to dig out my Xbox apparel. I don't know where it's at.
All right, well, I'm counting on it. But, hey, congratulations on the win tonight, guys. What was going through your driver's head with this green-white checkered shootout and Fast Fed on his bumper?
Well, it's always a challenge, especially when you have somebody as good as Fast Fed, breathing down your neck. But Hot Rod, he stayed focused, and he did exactly what we told him to do before the race, and he kept his eyes out the windshield and came back with a victory. So hopefully we get another one here, 1 down, 1 to go.
Each week, the confidence with your team just continues to grow. What has been the secret to success here as of late, especially in this push to the playoffs?
Well, we started off, and it was just bad luck, and we told the guys that. We knew that they were fast, they were getting poles, they were leading laps, and they were in contention to win. But, now we've gotten to the point where we're getting a little luck on our side, and we're showing how good our team is.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you guys on the win and the 2nd win for Hot Rod. Looking forward to the Xbox race here in a little bit.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that was some great racing, and now we are joined by a pretty incredible guest here in the booth. Michael Levine of Levine Family Racing is joining us, and I know you used to race. So how cool is this to see esports take off, especially with your esports background?
Yeah, I mean, racing was always something I dreamed of. I've played games since I was little. So to be able to see these two things cross over has been really pretty cool. To go from driving myself to now seeing these guys be able to come in and live their dream in a different way than some of us are actually able to. I think it's a great opportunity, man. It's so cool.
And you've got two pretty awesome drivers. We talked about the Bear, and you've got HD Motorsports. What's that dynamic been like incorporating essentially two new drivers to Levine Family Racing?
Yeah, so it's been a process, right? It just like bringing in anybody new. But the Bear, he's kind of a go-getter. He's been a lot of fun to work with. He texts me every week about what's going on and how he feels about this week. And then HD, he's kind of just the even keel guy. Nothing really bothers him. He's really easygoing. They've both been a blast to work with.
Now, I know you've got some background with NASCAR Heat, and especially in the design process. All the hype about NASCAR Heat 4 is coming out, and I know I'm excited to play it. Talk a little bit about your involvement with the game and maybe what we can expect, especially because it is going to be so new and so awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun working with 704 guys and trying to bring a little more of the real world to the game. There's some things that we've been able to get, like tire degradation. Tires are such a big part of the real world and how far you go in a race run. And being able to slow those down in the game as you get deeper into a run, I think is really going to bring some interesting strategy to these esports guys. So that's kind of the biggest one I'm really excited about. And then we worked on some of the setup things, tried to tweak some stuff that was really out in left field. Try to get it back closer to what we're doing these days in the Cup Series.
And as someone who works on those radio broadcasts, I feel like all we talk about is strategy and tire wear. So it'll be cool to see that incorporated into the new game here. But we talked about it a little bit ago, a sneak peek of Martinsville under the lights, and we've got that video here for you. Go ahead and get that pre-order. And I think I saw one of your drivers there go for a spin.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Matt didn't spin at Martinsville earlier this year, so I feel pretty confident that that's not actually how it's going to go. But both our guys, really all three, I guess I should say, both our real driver and Matt DiBenedetto, who's we've had 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s in 5 races. And these guys on the esports side are really starting to pick up momentum. So we're really excited on both sides of NASCAR that things are going well. And that game looks awesome.
It certainly does. Take all my money because I'm going to don't forget to pre-order. You can do so here so you can get Martinsville at night because that's worth the price of it all right there. All right, well, are you ready to stick around and maybe call some races with us?
Absolutely. We'd love to.
Sweet. Well, let's do the Xbox drivers here now as we get set to go from Indianapolis, and here's how they will line up to take the green flag.
You take a look at that starting order here. Great qualifying run, I said it earlier, by Jacob Kerr on the front row. Track bar, Mr. Consistent on the outside pole. SHG Slick, that 3rd position. He's looking to back up that win, and I'm expecting Jake to be in an Xbox shirt if he wins this race.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if he can get it done. Go fast Matt there in 7th. And your driver, Michael, HD Motorsports in 6th. You think he's got a shot?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Indy takes patience, and he's a patience guy.
He definitely is. We've seen him be patient and come out on top before in that consistency. Again, Casey and Wow That's Garbage in that 13th and 14th position did not take time in qualifying. They'll start from the back, and I feel like we talked about it before the race started. I don't even know if Wow That's Garbage needs to qualify at this point because he starts at the back and finds his way to the front.
Yeah, he's won from the back. He's finished on a podium finish from the back, so it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens, and we'll definitely check in. Well, this is kind of the views we're going to have tonight here for the Xbox. The Dan Cave. Yeah, he's doing a little dance. That's the Bolt live from the Dan Cave. He's got the gloves on, running for Gibbs Gaming. He's got the green. Yeah, I think he knows the camera's on, too, because he was ready for that dance. He's flexing on us all here in the NASCAR studios. But definitely one of the drivers to watch, and definitely one that will be working his way to the front. We're getting ready to go here in Indy. Hannah,
he's fishing. Yeah, he was fishing for a win there, reeling him in. We're going to definitely one of the many personalities we have in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. I would ask him for advice on dance moves, but I feel like we both maybe need some work there.
Yeah.
But multitasking, I'll let it have it there. But we're getting ready to go racing here in the Xbox. Things were crazy for that PlayStation race. We all know the Xbox drivers don't disappoint either with Germain Gaming and JTG on that front row.
Yeah, Michael, when you set up a race car for Indianapolis, obviously it's very slick. And what do you tell your drivers how to run here at Indy, especially to keep that momentum up and keep the horsepower up?
Yeah, it's all about how you get off the corners. The long straightaways, you've got to be really good off the corner. You can sacrifice a little bit in as long as you get a good run down these long straights.
Something to watch as we get ready to go take the green flag for the Xbox drivers. It's time to go racing at the racing capital of the world, and we've got one pace lap.
You got excited there. I don't blame you. After the last race we just
I'm just ready to go.
I was excited as well, and it looked like maybe even the drivers got excited there. We all know that Indy, being the Brickyard, provides some excitement. You've got a big track like Indy. We go to Michigan next week, or 2 weeks from now, and then the playoff cutoff, Daytona.
Where anything
What
can happen.
a place to do it at.
Yeah, definitely one of those races that it's kind of, you make the setup notes and then you just throw them out the window when you drop the green flag, right? Because it's like kind of just anything can happen.
I mean, we've seen in the real world guys with tremendous amounts of damage finish well. It's really just about staying in the draft. That's it. Don't do anything boneheaded. Stay in the draft.
And the draft will definitely play a part here as well. We saw it in the previous race. A little bit of push, some help. We have to wonder if maybe there's any teams that have teamed up for this race as well, and we can ask Zane about that a little bit later. He talked about Fast Fed and SHG Hot Rod teaming up to get a win. I wonder if that translates over into tonight's Xbox race.
Yeah, I'm sure the Fords and the Chevys and the Toyotas would all want to do well, but again, when it comes down with about 3 laps to go, it's no holds barred. We do have a car on the inside, the 22 of Shelby, so he's on pit lane. Not sure what this is going to be about. We'll check in with Zane. We'll get more information because we're coming to the green flag here at Indianapolis as they round through turn number 4, and they're about to come down the front straightaway, and we'll drop them loose for 35 laps at the Brickyard. Again, competition caution, lap 18.
We talked about Indy being one of those staple racetracks, a race that every team wants to get a win at. What does it mean to a team to get a win at a place like the Brickyard?
There's so much history there. One of the coolest moments in my racing career was the first time we ever even qualified for the race. That's how much this place means. So to get a win, it's incredible.
And everyone's going to be racing for that win right now as we are green flag in that Xbox race. Jacob Kerr jumps out to the lead there. Track bar already ready to challenge him for that, and 2 wide behind him between the Bolt and SHG.
Top 2 jump out to a good start with Slick working his way in 3rd. Battle now back for 4th as here comes Shelby, who pulls at the inside of the Bolt. So Shelby definitely got back on the racetrack and was able to start this one, as the Bolt then will use that draft, and Shelby will have to tuck back into that 5th position.
We saw Penske get off to a great start at the beginning of the season with some wins, some really strong, consistent runs, and it seems that they have fallen plague to something here where they're not running bad, but they haven't been running at those top 3. So Shelby looking to rebound. We saw his teammate Pennzoil do pretty good in the race as well. Looks like we've got some slicing and dicing though behind them as Track Bar challenges Jacob Kerr for that lead.
Yeah, Track Bar using that advantage because he's got help behind him. Slick gave him a nice old push, and now they're going to back out of each other because that train's coming on the bottom line. They just left Jacob Kerr, your pole sitter, out to dry after 1 lap.
That is not what you want to do. You do not want to get stuck outside of the draft. What goes through a driver's mind when they get outside? I mean, I assume it's nothing good running through the minds when you get pushed out of the draft.
Yeah, sometimes you can't actually say it on broadcast. But the biggest thing is you got to balance trying to be competitive and wanting to get that spot versus being able to tuck in line at the first opening and not lose too much ground.
There's your driver, HD Motorsports, looking live at him, work the wheel, as he right now rides in the 7th position, trying to work that draft a little bit.
Mr. Patient, you'd said it in the pre-race. He is the patient one of the LFR group over here. He'll pick them off slowly but surely. We saw a lot of drivers make ground in the previous race. Mordog there in that 6th position as well, right in front of him, looking for a good run to complement his teammates, and the Bolt also in that 5th position. But you look here as we ride along with Track Bar in the lead, nose to tail with the top 3.
And just as we talked about this racetrack and how to run off the corners, Michael, how about pit strategy too? Because it's a fuel numbers game here at Indy with such a big racetrack.
Absolutely. You don't want to push it to 1 too far because it's a long, slow roll back to pit road if you run out.
Not a place you want to get stuck here, not being on pit road. You don't want to get stuck on pit road either, as we talked to Zane in the pre-race about the penalty if you do not pit correctly. So pit road is just a lot of strategy involved in this race. We ride along and you see SHG Slick here, consistent in those top 5 runs, currently running in the 2nd position. A good run tonight and or a win would secure potentially an event win for Stuart Haas Gaming there. Looks like we're getting a challenge though. Diego all over the back bumper of JRM Dohar.
Things pretty calm, a little bit calmer than they were at the start of the PlayStation race, and I think these guys kind of learned some lessons that, you know, you don't want to take too many risks early here at Indianapolis, because if something were to happen, it's not that easy to get from the back to the front. It's very hard to pass. So right now, sizing each other up, running in that draft, trying to get some clean air if they can, and right now just trying to figure out where they're better than the driver ahead of them.
And you look at that statistic there, 97 laps led for Track Bar. We're just going to name him Mr. Consistent. He seems to always be there. He's always pretty quick as he leads the race right now. Nose to tail, though, 3rd through about 10th behind him. They're all pushing each other, and if they do it the right way, they can catch the leaders and contend here. It looks like the Bolt all over the back bumper of Jacob Kerr, who did lead the field to green, has slipped back to that 4th position. Ooh, contact, though, with Mordog and the wall.
They are still clean and green, though, so they gathered it back up, and it would be something if the guy riding in 2nd, Slick, could get it done and be the first team to go back-to-back in the single night. And right now he's challenging for the lead on the inside of Track Bar. Got a little bit loose, maybe arrow loose, sucked up to the quarter panel there and had to back out of it, but definitely you can see where he's trying to get that run down these long straightaways.
And that's such a big deal, right? If you can get a guy out of the bottom groove, out of the preferred lane, it's so much easier to make a pass.
Now with a race like this, with only 2 races left in the regular season, we talk about how everything comes down to the playoff. In any NASCAR Heat Pro League, it's consistency between, you know, your Xbox driver and your PlayStation driver that have to work out. But what is the stress that a team, let alone a driver, goes through? Fortunately, you guys are sitting pretty right now, but what is the stress a driver and team go through as they start to see these races wind down and it comes down to the playoffs?
Yeah, like you said, thankfully we're locked in, so stress is off of us. Now it's more about consistency and practice, right? And hopefully our Toyota teammates are able to secure, if we can do something to help them, we will. But it's also denial, keeping other guys from being able to get it locked in. So if we can continue to perform well, keep somebody else from being locked in, it's one less guy we got to compete with who might take it from us.
And we saw that teamwork in the previous race here, but we have a new leader. SHG Slick managed to get by Track Bar there, acquires the lead. Track Bar not willing to give it up super easily, though. The Bolt also looking to you saw Kerr make contact with the wall there, and the Bolt's going to take advantage of that slip up.
Yeah, he's going to bring Mordog with him, too. And I tell you what, here's another battle for the lead on the inside. It's Track Bar who's going to throw it into turn 1 and make it stick. The birthday boy, his mom was wishing him a happy birthday. He's celebrating a birthday this week, and hopefully he'd like to get it done by tasting the checkered flag here at Indy. That's today, yeah.
Back and forth, these two. Neither of them are willing to give up that lead as they run side by side. You'd mentioned, Michael, the preferred line. It seems whatever one can get on the bottom manages to acquire that lead, slides back in front of the other one, and you got to be able to shuffle the other person out of that preferred lane without making contact and slip up, because really a slip up here could affect both you and the driver you take with them. And when you wreck here at Indy, you wreck big.
And here we go, just like we saw on PlayStation, around lap 9 is when everybody hit pit road, and boy, are they getting them slowed down here. Long front straightaway pit road. That's got to feel like an eternity when you're calling your driver down pit road, right?
You're not kidding. It is forever long.
It'll be interesting to see what these drivers do. We'll get a report from Zane on who took 2, 4 tires, maybe no tires, but I doubt that'll happen. As now you're riding on board with JRN Dohar, another consistent driver in this Xbox group. Has a number of podium finishes.
The only 2 that did not pit here, you've got J Mac Attack that we are riding along with, followed by JRM Dohar again. These 2 have not pitted yet. The rest of the field has, so we would expect them to dip down pit road here in the next couple laps. But hey, add to that step. There you go, J Mac down pit road here, get slowed down. Someone apparently made friends with the cone in a previous pit. I would hate to be a cone at a NASCAR track. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, the orange cones definitely get beat up from time to time. And Michael, when you're making these pit stop calls, is it hard not to wonder what the other teams are doing and play kind of that game where you see somebody pit and you call them right away?
Oh, it's constant. You're constantly watching the board, and pretty much every manufacturer now has a software where we can see who's pitting when, what tires they're taking as. Where did he go? He's gone. There he is.
Oh, we got one in the wall hard. Boy, he went down in the grass and went on the outside. That's SHG Slick. So trouble for one of the dominant race cars here tonight. Oh, heartbreak. Not sure what happened there, and the caution will come out. Sorry to cut you off there, Michael. That was incredible. I don't even know where he went.
He just disappeared from the screen, and I wasn't real sure what happened. I just saw a car dart down the track, and in the real world, that's really scary when a guy takes off that fast.
Yeah.
Thankfully here, no harm, no foul. The guy's just fine. But that was definitely attention-grabbing.
And fortunately here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, we also have awesome replay action. So we'll get to see that here in a minute of what happened to SHG Slick. Jake, if you're listening, fortunately you might be off the hook on that Xbox shirt. I know it's not what you want to hear, but maybe your driver can still rebound. We've got 25 laps to go as we ride under caution, along with the Bolt running in 6th right now.
So it was hard to take a look back at what happened at the 14. We'll try to dial up that in a little bit, but boy, that was definitely a big impact there in the outside wall. So, and it also happened during pit stops. So this is where it was very interesting. A couple cars were on pit road, so we'll see how things cycle out and maybe who played that game right, or that gamble right, as we go back to green flag racing with J-Mac Attack leading some of the first laps this season, ahead of Go Fast Matt, Jerem Dohar, Track Bar, and HD Motorsports for LFR back in the top 5. Now back to 6 as they jockey for position, almost 3 wide there mid-pack.
Yeah, and that's where you got to stay in the draft of the guy behind you, or in front of you. That way you get sucked up, you can get around the guys who are low to try to get around them before the corner.
Here's a look at the replay here of what happened to the 14. So Kerr gets in the back of the back of the 88, and wow.
Well, it looked like actually the 14 of SHG was going around, and Kerr actually made contact with JRM there to avoid the 14. So wondering what happened with the 14 that sent him spinning. Fortunately, he's trying to work his way back up, already up to the 11th position. 1 lap down, though, just a lap or 2 away from the competition caution. This will allow everyone to cycle back through on a pit stop. Go Fast Matt, though, up front leading. Pretty good night for both him and his teammate Fast Fed so far.
Yeah, consistent runs for sure, and the race right now is to that competition caution because there is bobbing and weaving going on in Indianapolis. And now we've got a couple cars that slowed down. Big bottle up here, and look out! The 18 hard into the wall. The 95 is involved. We've got 4 cars at least.
I'm telling you, we need a booth cam up here as well as driver cams, because both myself, Michael, everyone's just like, what is going on?
We're just throwing our hands in the air.
I mean, that was bizarre. It was like he was cleaning his tires under caution and then hit the brakes, and next thing you know, people are on top of each other. It's crazy.
Boy, it'll be interesting to hear the Discord chat discussion between these drivers of what exactly happened, because I can't imagine there's too many happy folks right now on the racetrack.
We also talk about, the front stretch at Indy is not a place with a lot of give and take. We're going to take a look here at the replay on what happened there. You see as we ride along here with the 16. Oh,
2 cars were just wiggling and they made contact, and once you get sideways, it's so hard to correct these things. So it looks like J-Mac Attack maybe ran out of fuel or couldn't get the pedal down because he just slowed down and everybody checked up behind him.
That's straight what you call the accordion effect. We talk about it, one person messes up in front of you in a track that's so heavy dependent on drafting and staying close to each other. Something small like that can really obviously affect everyone back, but no one wasted any time going 3 wide into this corner here as we are back green. The Bolt with the lead over Go Fast Matt.
Yeah, so this worked out nicely for Gibbs with the Bolt taking the lead through all of this carnage. Go Fast Matt Dohart back up to 3rd for JRM. On board with the gloves and everything. That's the Bolt.
Live from the Dan Cave. He's got the gloves, everything he needs, pure focus. He's definitely not pulling any dance moves out right now as he is leading the race. We're gonna.
Oh boy, another contact on the outside wall. We've got 2 cars. That looks like that, yes, was the 95 as well. So my goodness gracious, it's like everybody's tight here. They're coming off the corner and plowing the wall down.
Yeah, and this is an easy place to get tight here, and it's not a wide track. So as soon as one guy gets out of shape, it's going to collect some people.
No room for forgiveness. It's almost got short track characteristics with no room for messing up on a big racetrack with drafting. It just so many room for mistake here, but we have a new leader. Go Fast Matt takes it back from the Bolt. The Bolt does not skip a beat though, ready to challenge. Looks like we've got a hornet's nest though shaping up behind them. Well, you got the track bar you can see here. Battle for fourth with Pennzoil or Shelby, I'm sorry, and JRM Dohar also in that mix.
And don't look now. The hot dog Oscar Mayer Wiener machine of garbage is on his way to the front. Started last, now he is a lap down, so he does need some good luck to happen. Hannah, you know that's my favorite car, man. That hot dog machine just somehow finds its way into the mix of things, but unfortunately garbage a lap down from earlier contact. But as we look back to the front, best battle right now on the racetrack is about a 1/10 of a second between Go Fast Matt and the Bolt.
We've got 15 laps to go, so we will see a lot of these drivers again come down pit road at some point before the end of the race. And with how everyone's racing right now, we saw the previous race go almost caution-free, shaped up for a green-white checkered, and so far that has not been the situation in tonight's Xbox races. The Bolt and Go Fast Matt lead the field. They've put some distance on themselves, but SHG Slick, we saw him quick at the beginning of the race, got involved in that wreck, already worked his way up to 7, so there's still room and time for a lot of these drivers to rebound.
Time is of the essence, though, because right now your top two are 2 seconds ahead of third place, and they're just starting to check out a little bit as the Bolt gets squirrely. But right now, these guys just need to kind of work together to get their way back to the front. They can see those top two, but they're starting to get awfully small in the front windshield. Look out, another car gets outside. Heavy contact. Track bar. Mr. Consistent and your last week's winner into the wall on the outside, and the caution is out. Boy, he had a heavy impact. One upside down.
Shelby also involved. You see here heavy damage on that Penske machine. The nose, the hood of that car is absolutely crunched. You see it there, 3 top 5 finishes for him. He's got consistency, but they can't seem to catch a break these last couple of races. Heavy damage for him there. Unfortunate break for that team.
You know, this reminds me of Indianapolis. What was that, a few years ago, where it almost finished at dark because of all the accidents?
Where we were running 6th and wrecked on the last lap?
Yep.
Absolutely, I remember that very well. I was actually on the spotter stand looking down at the front straight on that start finish on the restart there, trying to tell McDowell check up, they're wrecking, and there was just nowhere to go. But
oh man, I mean, that was a race that never was going to end.
Oh no, it took forever.
I was actually working that race as well, and we left prior to the end of the race to catch our plane, and we were almost landed when we heard that the race was over. So I was like, goodness gracious. But we are back green, handful of laps still left to go. Wow,
they're still
one is wasting any time here.
They figured at this point I need to be at the front because something's going to happen. So the battle right now for the lead. Here comes Jay McAttack, who was a part of that first big carnage melee, and he's back to second trying to sniff out his way to the lead. And then the Bolt gets shuckered to the outside with Jay McAttack, and now Slick, who was involved in that first wreck, now back to third.
Both Slick and HD Motorsports now cracked the top 5. Right there, nose to tail the entire field. We ride along here with Diego.
Oh, another car to the outside. Oh man, we got 2 on the outside, and now that's going to allow Diego and that Petty Esports machine to get to the front. Wow, and we got 1 car, that's HD again. He gets it. Now caution is back out. 11 laps to go. Cautions breed cautions, we hear that, but my goodness gracious.
Luck has not been on our side, I'll tell you that.
I know, you're at the point you're just shaking your head now, like I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the downside of starting that deep in the pack.
Yeah. Take a look at the replay here of what just happened. See everyone getting a little sideways. We got Diego makes contact with the wall.
Oh, wow. Looks like Mordog just got into that left rear.
Yeah, Mordog shuffled, looked like HD Motorsports up into the wall.
Oh, yeah.
You see the disappointment there on his face. I can only imagine the conversation being had right now.
I don't know if we could play the audio.
It doesn't.
I know we can't, but I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's how mad he has to be that you actually see it in his face.
That's true. Usually, yeah, he's Mr. stoic face. Yeah. Interesting. Well, we'll try it again. As green flag's back out for the restart, side by side again, your two cars that have pretty much paced the field and avoided all sorts of stuff behind them. As we've got more contact. This time J-Mac attack gets into the outside of Slick. Slick hits the wall. Luckily they stay clean and green for now. But boy, oh, and now Slick gets hit hard.
Slick got outside of that draft, got shuffled
that
back.
Was Casey
Looks like
that got
in contact with, Casey. Casey was going to come down pit road, decided not to. We are still green, though. Go fast, Matt.
Look at Garbage. 4th place for Garbage. He's coming back. He was down a lap and now is in striking distance of the lead. Can you believe that?
That's how quickly your day can turn around. You can go from having the worst day to being up front. And that's the great thing about motorsports.
Yeah. Oh, we've got another accident in the back.
We spoke too soon.
Yeah. Shell V looks like the 13 of Jacob Kerr. Skirt Bush involved. And Slick. Caution back out. We'll do this again.
What a different race we've had. We usually see, the place to... Oh, no.
Hang on.
It's okay, the Bolt.
Yeah.
He's dancing again.
He is dancing again. I'd be holding my breath if I was him because I wouldn't know where the next contact's coming from.
You just hope it's not you.
At racetracks like this, I feel like the best place to be is out front because something so quickly can happen that can turn your day upside down. Literally.
You say that, but SHG Slick was out front, and that's where it all started from. So there's nowhere safe on this track.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, well, we're going to reset and stack them up one more time, maybe.
Handful of laps left here in this Xbox race. Green flag, HD taking...
Oh, we're already going 3 wide back there.
Yeah, wasting no time to make that track position back up.
The 32 diving to the inside retakes the lead from J-Mac attack. Here comes the Bolt with him, that inside lane. Garbage was shuffled back now into 5th. Here comes Mordock for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club.
J-Mac attack just strong. Caused a couple of those wrecks, though. Looked like he maybe started some of those chain reactions, but still quick. Runs in that 3rd. The Bolt, it's those racing gloves.
Oh, here comes HD. He's going to send it. 3 wide at Indy on the inside. 1 car on the outside, another one. Track bar got into the fence. We've got 1 turned around in turn 3. We stay green. 3 laps to go, and this is all helping the 32 of Go Fast Matt, but don't look now. Another accident. Oh, my goodness. We've got cars everywhere. This has to bring out a caution.
We've got one.
No, we're going to stay green, and there's the caution. Okay.
Yeah, we got one that was stuck. I think there was no way you could get down pit road. They were all stuck going down the front stretch here. Go Fast Matt still on the lead. The Bolt sitting pretty in that 2nd position. I'm not even fully sure who was all involved in that wreck. There was a handful of them. Seemed like, again, J-Mac had made a move, chain reaction. I'm not really sure, but let's bring Zane into this. Zane,
what do you think of all this? Holy cow.
Holy cow is an understatement. Also, what's up, Mike, my bearded brother from another racing mother?
What's
up? How you doing?
How are you, man?
I just want to say right now, guys, this is the most intense racing we're seeing. We got a green-white checkered coming up. Like last race, it's checkers or wreckers. Here's the best part. If I was a betting man, I'd be a rich man by the end of this race because look up front. Go Fast Matt and the Bolt 1-2. So it could be an interesting race as we're getting ready to go green here.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, like you heard Zane say, checkers or wreckers, green-white checkered. Skirt Bush has left the racetrack, so he will not take the checkered flag back in last place. But right now, all eyes on the restart. Here comes Go Fast Matt. Back in front of the Bolt, who's riding that high lane, and guess who's right behind for 2nd? Now it's Garbage. Garbage started 14th, shotgun on the field. Now he's going to take a look to the inside for the lead.
And that's exactly where whoa, you see 2 wheels at the back of the pack there, holds on to it. Wow, that's Garbage looking to acquire that inside line. That is the preferred line, and he knows if he can get there, he can slide Go Fast Matt up and hold on to that lead position.
Coming to the white flag, turn number 4, Go Fast Matt. Can he hang on? Right now he's got a hungry pack behind him. We've got one in the outside wall. We stay green. Here comes Garbage. Oscar Mayer Hot Dogs on board at the number 6, and he's going to send it in the corner and inch ever so closely up to Go Fast Matt.
The Bolt making a move there on SHG Slick, who's looking for a good run for that team. We saw his teammate get the win in the PlayStation final lap here. He's only got a little bit of time left to make a move, as that's Garbage looking for another win.
Some blocking behind him with Bolt right now. Garbage hoping to go 3 for 3 when starting at the back. 2 more corners to go. He's going to have that thing wide open. Does Garbage have enough of a run? Through corner number 4. He's got it. He's got a run, but he gets blocked. Oh, Garbage down low. That's not going to be enough, as Go Fast Matt will take the checkered flag at Indianapolis. Back-to-back close finishes. Go Fast Racing winner in Indy.
What a race that was. First win of the season for Go Fast Matt. Wow, that's Garbage. Has got to be a little disappointed right now, but wow. I mean, I don't even have words right now. We were both all up here with our hands up in the air, anxious for those last couple laps.
All I know, if this was real life, there'd be 3 cars that would have finished that race.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of esports, right?
Yeah. Oh, you can see the Bolt. 3rd place run for him. I'm sure he's just got to be happy to get out of there in all one piece.
Let's take a look at the unofficial results here. Go Fast Matt with that exciting win. Wow, that's Garbage rallies from the back to finish 2nd, the Bolt in 3rd, and a rally back also for SHG Slick in 4th.
Shell V coming home with the top 5, just tried to stay out of as much trouble as he could, as SHG Slick again with 4th place position, so pretty good job on the points. We'll have to tabulate who gets the event win, but Garbage 1 spot close to going 3 for 3 to go from the back to the front. He was a lap down with like 15 laps to go. Pretty incredible stuff.
Incredible drive by a lot of those drivers. I mean, we saw lots of them have to go to the back, reacquire to the front, but like you said, Michael, a day can go from really bad to really good and back to really bad really quick.
Absolutely.
Go Fast Racing gets the win with Go Fast Matt, and it was an incredible drive to hold off the field in a race that lasted what seemed like forever. The 32 gets the checkered flag at Indy, and he joins us now in the post-race show. Go Fast Matt, congratulations, you're a winner in Indianapolis. How good does that sound?
Whew, that was awesome. I mean, I won the race. I didn't even expect I was going to win the race. I had my camera on standby. I didn't even have enough time to set it up. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I feel like I battled every single car there in the entire field when I was in the lead on those last restarts, man. And this is awesome. I mean, we're sitting 10th in points. This is great for our team. Now we're going to be locked into the playoffs. This is going to be a great points day for us, get us hopefully up in the top 5, and we can make a run for the championship. This is awesome.
Well, you had us excited up here in the booth, and I'm going to go ahead and add to your win excitement. They calculated the points, and it is actually the event win for Go Fast Racing as well. So you guys walk away from the weekend at Indy with yet another event win for you guys.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I love the broadcast. Everything you guys do is phenomenal.
Hey,
I'm just so happy to be here.
We appreciate it, but one last thing before you go. When you see what's going on behind you, how nervous are you as a driver to not make a mistake? Because we've seen pretty much everyone have some sort of contact tonight.
Oh, I'm extremely nervous. I mean, I'm pacing around my room right now because I don't even know what to say because I didn't expect to be here. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm in a party with 10 people. I hear all my friends arguing in the back of the pack. I'm trying to look forward, but I mean, when all your friends are talking to you, you're trying to look back at them to see how they're all doing. But I mean, it's just crazy when races come down to that. I mean, I'm just so fortunate. Thank God to Go Fast for drafting me, and we're going to make this work.
Well, congratulations, my friend, and go celebrate. We can hear the emotion in your voice, and I know it was a job well done, so good job.
Thank you.
Awesome race here. Awesome races for Indy. Congratulations to Go Fast Matt on that win. Go Fast Racing for that overall event win. 2 very exciting races in both PlayStation and Xbox. 2 races left in the playoffs, or in the regular season here. So look here, the next race, we've got 2 weeks, and then we go racing at Michigan.
Yeah, another big, fast super speedway, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of notes these guys can carry over. Michael from Levine Family Racing, what did you think of all this?
I mean, this is great racing every time we watch it. I love Wednesdays when this is on. It's so much fun. We sit at the house, we put it up on the big screen and watch every week. It's so fun to see these guys doing what they love.
and there has yet to be a disappointing race action every single weekend. Join us in Michigan 2 weeks, Wednesday, August 7th. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. ET. You can join us on Twitch. You can also join us on Facebook as well. No lack of action as we are going to spice things up even more.
We certainly are. It was an entertaining race here from Indianapolis. Michael Levine, thank you for joining us here in studio. You're more than welcome to come back anytime and join us.
Thanks for having me. I'll take you up on that.
Awesome stuff. And we want to thank everyone who joined us on Facebook and Twitch. We hope you are going to have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from Michigan. Until then, have a great rest of your night. Good night.